If there's one thing you should know in a 5v1 position is that whenever you are down numbers like that, the enemies will get super aggressive. In this case, you should start using your utility like crazy. Every single corner should be met with a flash, and you should always expect them to peek or hold stupid angle. One more thing to notice here is that retaking from dugout is so much easier on Pearl because you can catch enemies off guard, just like this enemy who almost ran into my crosshair, and it's just so much more comfortable. One more tip for this specific clip: if your teammate is defusing, always wall him off. It can be a Phoenix wall, neon wall, jet smokes, club smokes, or maybe even a sage wall. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Happy and I'm an immortal high-level coach. In these series, I help you improve your game sense and talk about how to get an advantage on every single fight that you take. If you're tired of being stuck in the same rank, I strongly suggest joining the premium tier of my group, which will be linked down in the description. Inside, I talk about the purpose of every single role, how to learn a new skill, and most importantly, how to play your character. So if you're someone who's serious about improving in Valorant, I suggest you join. Let's get to the video. Enemy jet pops knives here, and I know that I won't hit him in an open area. That's why I only leave him 1 pixel where I can hold him and make sure it's so much easier to kill him. You should always comply with your teammates whenever they ask for a molly or a flash. That's the least you can do. And here's a very important thing. Whenever you're up against 2 sentinels, specifically Cypher, you don't just want to run into his sight, you don't want to go fast, and you don't want to go loud. These are the 2 main priorities. Because you will either step on a trip, or they will peek you while you're trying to destroy the trip with an off angle. As you can see, the correct way to enter the site is to go as silent as possible. One of the coping mechanisms is to actually blame your teammates, and that's exactly what hard stuck players like to do. Chill for a little bit.
Play fast, please.
Play fast into 2 sentinels. So enemies don't have a smoke, and I am aware of that because I'm a coach, and immediately you can see me going for angles that normally wouldn't be allowed if they did have smokes. If I threw a flash here, everyone is dead, but this Reyna just hits a random flick into my head and I'm popped. Reyna wasn't even looking at me. And here's how fighting in positions that usually should be smoked should actually look like. This is the same results we should have had on Heaven A site if it weren't one tap by the Reyna. We lost a lot of times on A because we had like 3 teammates who couldn't hold the site, so I decided to take matter into my own hands. Swear to God, it's not that hard to defend A, like, come on guys. And that's exactly what you should do. If you feel like your teammates are not able to hold a site, just reposition, hold the site, and then let the enemies know that you're capable of doing that. And once you show the enemies at least one time that you're able to defend the site, they will come back to another sites and try to attack different parts of the map. There. I mean, I jiggle and I see Vito stuck in the corner, that's why I decide to ult, but as I'm ulting on my minimap, I see that Sova is lurking behind me, so I take care of him first. I talked about aggressive Reynas before. This is another example. Usually an enemy would back off after being flashed, but not Reynas. For Reynas, you always have to expect them to push into you again. One of the general tips for every single agent: if you are going Heaven on split to B, you should let your teammates take contact first, because if you go in first, your teammates will not trade you, just like I did right here. And now it's a 2v1 situation, we don't really know where Omen is, so I decide to double up with my Claw. I don't just want to be in the open on site and the Omen just kills me from the back. Here I am still following the Claw, just to trade her in case, and I'm aware that Omen might try to check me CT because the spike is planted so close to it. If you watched my previous video, this is exactly how I clutched a 2v1 in Omen's shoes. And now that I'm on the other side, I'm countering that possibility. If you have 2 sentinels and no initiator, especially on split, you should go mid as much as possible and just bait as much util as possible from Sage. Here we went before the util, but it worked out because we have a Phoenix ult. I need more bullets. I need more bullets. We have 2 senties, not much else you can do. just run it down mid. Because the enemies already have side, Phoenix ult is going down, there's no way my teammates are holding. That's why I go for the flank. Number one, because they don't really have a flank holder. Number two, because I'm gonna get a better fight here than going from top side. Also, I can distract the enemies because I can see that there's two of them pushing into me already. And if I don't die, they always have to worry about the flank. As you can see, I'm taking the attention of at least two people already, and that gives my team the opportunity to just very easily walk down on site. Plus, I did a lot of damage to Reyna and Omen there. This is a really fun one and instructional. If your enemies don't clear backside from the left side, which you will see here in a couple of seconds, you should actually just put your foot on the gas pedal whenever you feel the timing. Just start running. And then if you can catch this timing whenever they already pushed out, they will just not look at you, they will not fight you, none of their attention will ever be on you. I remember someone in the school community asked me, what is the best tip for Pearl? And I said, don't be like this Fade. As you can see, this keeps happening on every single game. There's always a Fade playing in art, giving that free pick. Now imagine I wasn't alone and I had more people with me, she wouldn't even have a chance. Dying like that, especially with a disadvantage while being blind, gives up so much map control, and that map control is actually crucial. I just talked about in my Tail Pearl course module, I was like, don't be the fucking initiator who plays art and just has an off angle. Because I've seen so many Fades who have an off angle in art. Look at this Fade, dude. It happened twice already now. Has anyone else been getting this weird glitch whenever an enemy dies? Dude, you see these discs? What is that? What is that? Is that like a side quest? Is that a side quest? You guys... What is that? What is that on my screen? It looks like that's a glitch off of something, but off of what? With Phoenix, you wanna ult from a safe range. And I actually heard an Omen's TP, so it's very likely that he's in the smoke or behind us. He was rafters. I still have a little bit of ultimate left, so I check inside the smoke and reveal Sage. Now I want to close down some distance to make my flash effective. And then after flashing, I make my Vandal effective. In Heaven A side, even if you don't get a kill, if you can lock it down, which means preventing enemies from pushing in, it gives you this weird off angle, which makes it so hard for the enemies to attack the side, because you can always peek them. And also notice that every time I'm taking a fight, I'm looking where my teammates are, and I'm only fighting whenever the enemies are in a crossfire between us. 150 for both sides. So usually I wouldn't do this type of an ultimate, but because the enemies are smoking and the sky flash has gone down, it is a very, very big indicator that the enemies are actually gonna commit. So me getting at least one kill here is very good, because an operator holding on site is just very strong. Now I'm waiting for my teammates so that we can play a proper retake together, up numbers. I tried to molly off the corner, I completely mess it up. Oh damn. And then this flash was intended to keep Sky under, so she would be scared to peek and couldn't reposition. Thank you everyone for watching. Comment down your favorite clip and I'm gonna respond to every single comment. Also, if you're serious about improving in Valorant, you wanna get even better game sense, join the premium tier of my group, link in the description. See you guys tomorrow.